Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari. Gopi Janna Vallabha Girivana Dari. Sodanandana Bhattajanna Ranjana. Jasodanandana Bhattajanna Ranjana. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamuna Tira Vanachari. Jamastapada Paramahansa Pravajakacharya Asatra Sadashi Shimad, His Divine Grace, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki. Anantagota Vaishnavani Ki Jai, Namacharya, Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai, ISKCON Founder Acharya, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Premji Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Samakun Radhakun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai, Shri Vrindavandam Ki Jai, Shri Maya Purnavidam Ki Jai, Gangamaya Ki Jai, Jamunamaya Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Somaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai, Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai, Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai, Go Premanandi. All glories some devotees, all glories some devotees, all glories some devotees, all glories, Shri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This morning reading the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 24, Text number 39. Sarva Sathatma Dehaya Visishaya Staviyase Nama Trilokya Palaya Saha Ajobalaya Cha Sarva Sathatma Dehaya Viseshaya Staviyase Namastrilokya Palaya Sa Ojo Balaya Cha Sarvasathatma Dehaya Visashaya Viyase Namastrilokya Palaya Sa Ojo Balaya Cha Sarvasatvatma Dehaya Viseshaya Vasiyate Namastrilokya Palaya Sa Ojo Balaya Cha Sarvasatvatma Dehaya Viseshaya Saviyate Namastrilokya Palaya Sa Ojo Balaya Cha Sarvasatvatma Dehaya Viseshaya Saviyate Namastrilokya Palaya Sa Ojo Palaya Cha Sarva all Sattva existence Atma soul Dehaya unto the body Visesaya diversity Stafiyase unto the material world Nama offering obeisances Trilokya three planetary systems Palaya maintainer Saha along with Oja prowess Balaya unto the strength Cha also translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada ki. My dear Lord, you are the gigantic universal form which contains all the individual bodies of the living entities. You are the maintainer of the three worlds, and as such you maintain the mind, senses, body, and air of life within them. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Purport. As the individual body of the living entity is composed of millions of cells, germs, and microbes, the universal body of the Supreme Lord similarly contains all the individual bodies of the living entities. Lord Shiva is offering his obeisances to the universal body, which includes all other bodies, so that everyone's body may fully engage in devotional service. Since this individual body is composed of senses, all the senses should be engaged in devotional service. For instance, the smelling instrument, the nose, can engage in smelling the flowers offered to the lotus feet of the Lord. The hands can engage in cleansing the temple of the Lord, etc. Indeed, being the life air of every living entity, the Lord is the maintainer of the three worlds. Consequently, he can induce every living entity to engage in his real life's duty with full bodily and mental strength. Thus, every living entity should serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead by his prana, life, artha, wealth, intelligence, and words, as stated in the srimadbhagavatam 10:22-35, Etavad Janma Sapayam, Dehinam iha dehashu prana artha diya vacha Shreya Acharanam Sada. That's spoken by Lord Krishna. Even though one may desire to engage in the service of the Lord without sanction, one cannot do so. Lord Shiva is offering his prayers in so many different ways in order to show living entities how to engage in the devotional service of the Lord. Om Jnanatamandasya Giranjana Salakaya Chakshram Militam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Mukam Grodavachalam Pangun Longhai Tegrim Yat Kripa Taraham Bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam Vanchakapatubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Deva Chapatitanam Pavanevya Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Many times Prabhupada would speak about the foolishness that many are saying that the world is overpopulated. Too many people, right? But actually there's not too many people. There's so much land, there's so much bare land all over the world. Right? But because people want sense gratification, they gather in these places where there's a lot of people, where there's more opportunity for sense gratification, just like Los Angeles, SanDiego, New York. There's so many people there, they want sense gratification. There's more money to get, which brings out sense gratification. But there's so much empty land all over the world. Yeah, they're just wasting land. Krishna, it says here, Krishna, he's maintaining everyone. But people don't have a clear understanding that Prabhupada said, you have 10 times more people, no problem. But people there's just mismanagement. This is the problem, mismanagement. But Krishna, he is managing everything very nicely. And throughout the world, there's governments that are they're trying to maintain their countries, and therefore there's some tax. Just like here in America, there's federal tax, right? There's state tax. What other taxes are there? Local tax, sales tax, property tax. So many taxes. As monks, we don't have to pay tax, right? Except for sales tax sometimes. And why are they paying all these taxes? We get roads, street lights, the schools are free, up until high school. Military is free, yeah. So many things. I was looking into this, and the average American pays 30% of his income to tax. It's a lot of money. And what did Prabhupada say? 50%. 50% of a devotee's income should be given for the spreading of Krishna consciousness. Of course, nowadays it's not very possible. I know of a couple people that were able to do that, but they were doctors making a lot of money, so they were able to maintain and have some extra, so they were able to do the 50%. But why? Because Prabhupada, he wanted to spread Krishna consciousness. And throughout the world, there's churches and there's synagogues and there's temples where it's asked to give some monthly contribution. Just like in Catholicism, I think it's 10%. And the same with Mormon. Yeah, they give a lot of their income to the church. Now, why is that? Because the church, they have facility there for people to come and worship the Lord. They can, it's like also devotees, they give donations here. It costs money to maintain the temple, and the devotees that are connected to this temple, they come coming Sunday. For those of you on the internet, the devotees are going to be able to come to the temple again. It's kind of gradually opening up. Haribo. Hopefully it'll open up completely soon, but it's a gradual opening. So this Sunday between 5:30 and 7:30, devotees can come and get darshan. And I think the class is going to be between 4:30 and 5:30 here in the temple room, from what I understand. So there's that facility for devotees to come and get darshan and hear about Krishna. So they're asked to give some donation for maintenance. So this is, of course, pleasing to Krishna, and therefore it's stated here in the purport. Actually, this verse is a very nice verse. Prabhupada quoted it quite often. This Etavaj Jamasapoyam Dehinam Iyadeshu Prana Artha Diyavacha Shreya Acharanam Sada. And the way this verse came out is also very interesting. Krishna, he's in Vrindavan, and he's there with all his friends, and he calls them over. Sridham, Subal, Stoka Krishna, Angsa, please come, look at this, look at these wonderful trees here. The trees are giving us so much nice shade, and they're giving us fruits, and they're giving us flowers, just like this Kadamba tree. You know, and there's another New Govardhan. You know where the other New Govardhan is? In Australia. And it's a beautiful farm. And right next to the temple at New Govardhan, there's this huge Kadamba tree. It must be like 50 feet high. It's huge. And they have these flowers about this big. And you know, when Lord Chaitanya would go into ecstasy, his body would erupt like Kadamba flowers. And you could see these flowers. I mean, when you smell these flowers when they're right, just like, unbelievable. It smells so nice. And you could see how it reminds you of Lord Chaitanya, because they're golden, and they kind of like little pimples, you know, little bumps on the flower. See, so Lord Chaitanya said that his body would erupt like Kadamba flowers. He would wear them on the ear. Oh, really? Because they're actually quite big, you know. You might have to tie them on here. But yeah, they're very beautiful. And they have white little flowers that come off of them. You know, amazing, beautiful. So the trees give us so many flowers and fruits, and they protect us also from the wind and from the rain. I remember one time I was in Pocatello, Boise, or near Boise, in Pocatello, Idaho. And it was pouring down rain, you know, nothing like you see. It never rains in California anymore. I remember, though, when I was growing up in Los Angeles, it used to pour down rain like anything. I mean, just like, unbelievable. And it would rain so much at the LA temple that Jagadish Ananda Prabhu, he would have boards, because you couldn't get to the temple, because the gutter would be so full. He'd have to bring out. No one's seen these boards for 40 years now, because I think too much sinful activity. They're not getting any rain anymore. But anyway, I was in this Pocatello distributing books on campus, and it was raining so much, but I was right next to the trunk of a tree, and I wasn't getting wet. And people were coming up, and they were getting so many books. So I was thanking that my friend, the tree, protecting me from the rain. So Krishna says to the boys, "Isn't it these trees? They're so fortunate that they're giving so much service to society." You know, so then he quoted this verse here, that it's the duty of all human beings to give their life for others. Yeah. And we have this Sankirtan mission, this Sankirtan movement, where one can give one's life. And many have. I mean, there's devotees that have been distributing books for 50 years and preaching all over the world. And of course now we're a little stunted. We can't move so much now. But it's starting to open up. I was just at the beach this morning, and there was 2 TV stations at the beach. And I said, "Hey, what's the news?" The beach is opening up. So now people can go to the beach and just lay around, you know. You could always go there, but you could only move. You either got to walk or you got to run. You can't stay stationary. But now you can go there and just soak up the rays. You know. So gradually things are opened up. Georgia has opened up now. Many devotees have gone. You know, the Harinam team in New York City. What is that called? Harinam. It's not Harinam Ashram. They've moved. Now they're going to Georgia because it's open. And New York City, who knows when that's going to open? That's got the worst hit there, New York City. So yeah, gradually it's opening up. And many devotees there have given their life. And it's a wonderful thing to give our life for the benefit of others. I mean, there's so many people that give their lives for such mundane things. Just like you all heard of the kamikazes, the kamikazes in Japan. They would during World War II, they would fill their plane with bombs, and the plane became the bomb. They would just go in there and just put it right where they wanted it and blow themselves up. Blow the plane up, blow themselves up, suicide. Ships also. Oh, they would attack ships. Yeah. So they would give their life for some little island in the Pacific. Yeah. And so many people give their lives for their country. Just like now there's, believe it or not, there's America's involved in 7 places where they're engaged in wars. You don't hear about them much, but Africa, of course, Middle East, 7. So devotees, or not devotees, but people from this country, from there, they're out there, risking their lives for their country. And how many people risk their lives for money? Yeah, just like when this coronavirus started, I was in India, and I got news how people are lining up at gun stores. They're getting guns for protection. Because, when things get desperate, people are willing to give their life to go into another person's home to get things, to get money or something. And mercenaries also, to get money. And actually, that's one of the main reasons that our American soldiers go to war. Good money. They go to war, you get good money. So people give their life for such mundane things, money and fame and recognition. So to give one's life for the glorification of the Lord, how glorious that is. And Prabhupada wanted that. He wanted devotees to give their life for the spreading of Krishna consciousness. And he said that he chose the GBC members by whoever he saw was most enthusiastic to preach Krishna consciousness. Yeah. He felt they'd really given themselves. Yeah. So, prana, to give our life. Just like I'm distributing books sometimes, and people ask, so how much should I give? And I say, well, I gave my life. If you can give your life, that's nice. Yeah. But if you can't, then you give what you can. Yeah. Many devotees gave their life. I'll tell you an interesting story that happened. There was one person, he was going through the airport in Atlanta, and there was a book distributor there, and the devotee showed the book to him, and the person was holding the book, and he presented the book like, well, here, yeah, check it out, you get one. And he said, all right. So he was looking at it, he just walked away. He said, wait, we tried to get a donation for it. And the man said, well, if I like it, I'll give you a donation. And he walked off. And he was thinking that this person stole my book. But I remember the way we used to distribute, we were all trained this way. Here, you get one, we're passing these out. Makes it sound like it's free, right? And then they walk away when we think they stole it. Anyway, we changed that a lot. I've been on a big mission all around the world. We don't say that anymore. We say, here, check this out. Or here, we're showing this to people. You don't give the impression that it's free. Then they walk away and we think, you rascal stole the book. So this person that walked away with the book saying, if I like it, I'll give a donation, he joined the movement. He gave his life. Balavanta. He became a GBC member. And he's doing so much service for our society. I mean, a lot of service for our society. So that devotee thought he stole the book, but no. He took it, he liked it, gave his life. So actually that's a good result. That should be the result of anybody that reads the Bhagavad Gita and the Srimad Bhagavatam. That this is good. Let me give my life. This is a good cause to give my life for. So prana, artha. Artha means wealth. We should give our wealth to Krishna. Krishna has given us so much, so we should be willing to give back. And the more we give back to Krishna, then we get more also. It comes back to us many, many times. So wealth. Of course, devotees, they don't have much wealth because we were cursed. Brahmins were cursed by Lakshmi Devi herself. Why? Because a Brahmana kicked the chest of her Lord Vishnu. And she said, from this time on, Brahmanas won't have wealth. So if you're a Brahmana and you're wondering why you don't have wealth, this is why. There are some examples of Brahmins that have wealth. Ambarish Prabhu, who's given his wealth for the TOVP. And there's others also. We have some devotees that have some wealth, but in general, not. So prana, artha, diya, should give one's intelligence. Should be ready to give one's intelligence to Krishna. People are utilizing their intelligence for so many useless things, just like they have these nuclear bombs. Very intelligent people, but they're using their intelligence on how to harm people. And Prabhupada said, well, why don't you use that intelligence on how to stop death? Rather than causing death to others, why don't you use that vast intelligence on how to stop death? This is the main problem. Birth, death, old age, and disease. These are the problems in society. So people should be utilizing their intelligence on how to stop these things. These are the major problems. And Krishna, he gives the direction on how to become free of death. Janma, karma, chame divyang, evam yo veti tattva, chaktvadiham punarja, naitimam vitusarjana. That anyone who understands the transcendental nature of my appearance and activities does not, upon leaving his body, take his birth again in this material world. So we should utilize our intelligence in understanding the message of Krishna. And Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that those who study the Bhagavad Gita, they worship me by their intelligence. Interesting, huh? Those who study the Bhagavad Gita, they worship me by their intelligence. An interesting way to worship Krishna. By your intelligence, you worship Krishna just by studying the Bhagavad Gita. And of course the Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So this is a subtle way of worshipping Krishna, and a very beneficial way to worship Krishna. So prana, artha, diya, vacha, and words. This is something that devotees do quite a bit. Our movement it's an outreach movement. So we do a lot of preaching. Now, actually, some devotees have told me they're doing more preaching now on the internet than they were before. There's a lot of preaching still going on. It's like there's a saying that I think it was Buddy and Ryan Mars was saying that there's some water leak or something. People are trying to stop the leak, but somehow the water gets through. So devotees also, if there's for some reason there's some obstacle to preaching, then they'll figure out somehow to do it. And now it's so much preaching is going on. And of course, in book distribution, we're talking all day. That's why I have a bit of a throat problem, because I do a lot of talking on book distribution. I'm getting some rest now because the lockdown. But a year after year after year after year after year of talking, all day long, it has an effect on the throat. But that's a great offering to Krishna, is to give your throat, give your throat to Krishna. So these are different types of devotional service, And in the Nectar of Instruction, it stated that these types of devotional service, all these different types of devotional service should be done utsaha, with great enthusiasm. And Prabhupada said, even if you're not enthusiastic, just act enthusiastic, and you'll become enthusiastic. And he gave an example, interesting example. You know, when Prabhupada was in India, back when he had his business, his pharmaceutical business, he had a car, and not many people had cars back then. And back then, everybody had these standard cars, and some people don't even know what a standard car is. That's where you pop the clutch, where you use a clutch, a stick shift, clutch. So sometimes a car wouldn't start. So the way the car would start is somebody would have to push. You push, people get behind and you push it, and you pop the clutch. And gradually the engine starts going, and Prabhupada even gave the sound, and then it starts going. So you give it a push start, and then it kicks into, it starts, and then gradually it starts going. So you get that. And that's why it's nice to be around devotees. Sometimes devotees, due to whatever, just the nature, the material nature, devotees sometimes might be having a hard time in their devotional service, and a devotee will come and say, "Hey, Prabhu, how's it going? So everything's all right?" Try to give a little, push start, get him going again. And Prabhupada was the best at encouraging devotees in their devotional service. And Prabhupada, he one time said that if you're not happy in Krishna consciousness, you're doing something wrong. It's a natural byproduct. Yeah. And there was one devotee, Prabhupada saw that he didn't seem very happy, and looked a little depressed, and Prabhupada went up to him and asked him, "Is everything okay?" And the devotee said, "Well, Prabhupada, I'm feeling some transcendental depression." And Prabhupada says, "There's no such thing as transcendental depression." Concoction. He said, if you're practicing Krishna consciousness properly, then you'll be happy. And therefore, chant and be happy. If we chant Hare Krishna nicely, then we'll be happy. But we have to be enthusiastic. And we have to pray for this enthusiasm. And it'll come. And that enthusiasm comes by association with others who are enthusiastic. And of course, by reading Prabhupada's books, you become very enthusiastic. Sometimes devotees ask me, how have you been able to distribute books for so long, 42 years? I say, well, I get inspiration from Prabhupada. Yeah. And Prabhupada, throughout his books, he's always expressing the importance of preaching. Throughout his books. So I get inspiration from Prabhupada. He makes me enthusiastic, And therefore, before I go on book distribution, I make sure I read Bhagavad Gita and srimadbhagavatam. Make sure I do that. That I get inspiration. I'm inspired. I become enthusiastic. Yeah. So enthusiasm, utsaha nischayadhaya. You have to be confident. You have to have confidence that this is right. We have to have this faith. And of course, that comes from hearing. Shraddha Shabda Vishvashakai Shudrida Nishtoy Krishna Bhakti Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. That by rendering service to Krishna, then all perfection will come. Simply by engaging in this service to Krishna with faith, then all perfection will come. We'll go back to Krishna. So we have to have this confidence that yes, this is right. Mr. Prabhupada was with some devotees, some GBC members and sannyasis in Los Angeles, in his room there, all the leaders there. So Prabhupada asked them, "Are you convinced?" And no one said anything. No one said anything for maybe a half a minute. Prabhupada could be very grave, so no one said anything. Then Prabhupada said, "Well, I'm convinced." So, because Prabhupada's so convinced, He convinced so many people. Maybe not, completely, 100% faith, 100% convinced, but we're convinced enough that we joined this movement, and we're dedicating our life. We may not have complete 100% surety that Krishna is the Supreme Personality. Prabhupada said, actually, if you had that complete faith, 100%, then you'd completely surrender. But because we don't have that complete conviction, that complete faith, therefore we're not, kind of holding back, We're not completely giving ourselves. But when we do have this complete conviction, this complete faith that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then we'll fully surrender. So this faith, there's the beginning, Dao Shratata Sharu Sangata Bhajanakriya. There's that preliminary faith. And then by practicing, eventually we get that nishta, firm faith. And then we can actually devote ourselves completely. So utsaha nischaya dharya, and we have to have patience also. I remember one time I was preaching in Germany, Sunday feast lecture in Germany. So I was speaking about the holy name, how the name of Krishna and Krishna are non-different. There's an interesting pastime with Prabhupada in this regard. Then I'll go back to in Vrindavan, 1976, I think, one devotee was given a Bhagavad Gita class. And Prabhupada was in the audience, listening to the class. Imagine that. Talking about being nervous. So the devotee was speaking about the holy name, and he said that the holy name of Krishna is within Krishna. And Prabhupada said, oh, where in Krishna is Krishna's holy name? Prabhupada said, no. The name is not within Krishna. The name is Krishna. The name is Krishna. The name, Krishna, and Krishna are non-different. The name of Krishna is not within Krishna. So the devotee said, oh, thank you, Prabhupada. So I was explaining like this in this class, that the name of Krishna and Krishna are non-different. And after the class, one student asked, so I find it very difficult to understand how the name of Krishna and Krishna are non-different. And I said, well, you have to have a little patience. You have to have some patience to understand. It's not an easy thing to understand. The name of God and God are non-different. And by chanting the name of God, you're connecting to God. So I said, you have to have some patience. So this was a student. So this student said, you know this word patience? It's not even in my vocabulary. In the West, we're very impatient. We want everything now. So no, we have to be patient. We're trying to get the high. We're trying to achieve the highest goal. Love for Krishna. So we have to have some patience, and therefore this is in this verse prana artha dhya vacha. There's this word shreyas. Shreyas means, what does shreyas mean? Ultimate benefit. Yeah, and then there's prayas, means some immediate benefit. Just like when we were children, we didn't want to go to school, right? I didn't want to go. We all wanted to just play. And Prabhupada even said that my mother had to hire 2 people to take me to school. I didn't want to go to school. Because kids, they just want to play, they just want immediate benefit, And what do the kids all want to eat? Candy. That's it. They don't want vegetables. Oh God, don't give me vegetables. If you don't eat your vegetables, you don't get a sweet. Oh God. Oh, all right. So everybody wants that immediate benefit. I had a really sweet tooth when I was young. Oh God, I lost half my teeth because of that too. So, but no. You go to school, you get an education, you get a good education, you come out and you get a good job, and you get some high-paying job. So you do that austerity to get some good result. So we're trying to get the highest benefit, which is to go back to Godhead. Now there's a lot of people who are customers to the prayas. Everybody wants this sense gratification, immediate gratification, sense gratification. All over the world, people are into prayas. There's a big prayas movement throughout the world, but very few customers of Shreyas that want the ultimate benefit. And what is the ultimate benefit? You become free of old age, disease, birth, all these major problems we become free of. You can go to the spiritual world, you don't die, you get a spiritual body. You don't get old, no disease, no police, no anxiety, it's Vaikuntha. It's complete harmony. And who wants to go there? Practically nobody. And what does it cost? Nothing. Just Janai Krishna. And even there's people that give out books, just like a couple of days ago, one devotee. He gave me $108. Actually, he gave me $110 for sponsoring. He's ready to sponsoring books. If someone doesn't have enough money, he kindly gave this money. If anybody's on the internet right now, you don't have enough money to get a set, and you only a set of a srimadbhagavatam, and you only have $150. I got $100 here for you, so you can get a srimadbhagavatam. I think they're $250, and CC is $150. If you want a CC, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and you only have $50, I have 100. Well, I have 108. So if you have only 142, I could spot you here by the mercy of this devotee. First come, first served. You better hurry up. $108 I got waiting for you if you want any books and you don't have enough money. So this is the kindness of devotees. They give money to sponsor books. So this is the kindness of devotees. So, and this is the ultimate benefit. And we want, not only do we want to get this ultimate benefit of going back to God, we want to help as many people as possible. Just like Prahlad Maharaj, he didn't want to go back to Godhead by himself. I want to help the others too. Therefore, he stayed in the cities. Back then, most of the yogis, they would go to the Himalayas for their own benefit. But a devotee wants to be in the city to help the people in the city, get this message, get this ultimate benefit of Krishna consciousness. So, utsaha nistya daya tat karma, which engage in activities that are favorable for our Krishna consciousness. So these activities, they lift us. These activities lift us out of the modes of material nature. And they situate us in devotional service. These favorable activities. Prabhupada so nicely set up this movement so that, they have these 5 activities, Sadhu Sangha, Nam Kirtan, Bhagavat Shravan, Mathura Vas, Sri Mathura, Shraddhaya Sevan. Every morning we're doing these activities. Sadhu Sangha, we're associating with the devotees. Nam Kirtan, we're chanting the name. Sadhu Sangha, Bhagavat Shravan, we're hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. Mathura Vas, we're living in a holy place. Worshipping the deity. It's all there every morning. So we're very fortunate to be under the shelter of Srila Prabhupada in guiding. He's given us so many favorable activities to engage in, and so many other things we can do by his kindness. So utsaha nistyadaya tat karma bhavarta sangat tyagat. We have to give up bad association. If we associate with materialistic people, then it rubs off. Prabhupada gave the example. You associate with low-class people, drunkards, you become like a drunkard. You become low-class. You associate with saintly people, you become saintly. It's like Prabhupada has created this movement. Just like some reporter asked Prabhupada, how many pure devotees are in your movement? And Prabhupada asked the second, how many devotees are in our movement? About 500. 500 pure devotees. Prabhupada could be very liberal sometimes. But Prabhupada created a society of devotees, so many wonderful devotees. Just think of this, I'm listening to this devotee now a lot, Radhisyam in Pune, Radhisyam Prabhu. He's so knowledgeable, such a nice, humble Vaishnava. And there's so many, Vijaya Prabhu up in ISKCON, Silicon Valley. Wonderful lectures, so knowledgeable. So Prabhupada has created these jewels. We have one right here in SanDiego, Dravida Prabhu. Knows so much. So much knowledge is there. And Prabhupada created all these wonderful Vaishnavas. In Mayapur, you got the twins there, was it? Jani Nivas, Pankajangari, such wonderful devotees. Prabhupada said about these devotees, no complaints. It's difficult in Kali Yuga, no complaint. There's always some complaint. Prabhupada said about them, no complaints. So we want to create more devotees, by the mercy of Krishna. So, utsaha nistya dayat tat karma sangha tyagat satovade, and we have to associate with devotees. By this association of devotees, we learn how to act. What is one of the symptoms of the non-devotees? They don't know what to do. They don't know what not to do. But by the association of Krishna's devotees, by the association of Krishna and hearing the absolute truth, then we understand what to do and what not to do. Just like previous, none of us knew what to do. Before we joined, we had no idea what to do. We're doing so many sinful activities. Not even knowing that it's wrong. Not even knowing that it's wrong. So now we got these books. Oh, now we know what's right. We know what's wrong. And we strictly avoid things that we know are wrong, and we hang on to those things that we know are right. Okay, any question or comment? Correction. Balaram Prabhu.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You mentioned that point in Bhagavad Gita about where Krishna says, those who read the Gita, they worship me with their intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
And how you yourself, you read before you go out and distribute books. So in relation to that, sometimes, nowadays it's just whether you're a brahmachari or whether you're a householder, there's so much going on in the world. I'm just thinking, like in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time, of course, he didn't sleep very much, and very coming from the spiritual world and all that. But just like the correspondence nowadays. I mean, there's WhatsApp, there's texting, there's phone calls, there's emails, there's Facebook. And people are so much you have to communicate a lot, with people, and services and this and that. So sometimes devotees, and you're living outside working, 9 hours a day they work, right? Yeah.
Some, yeah.
Yeah. 9 hours a day.
9 hours a day, yeah.
So, it becomes difficult sometimes to really make progress in finishing Prabhupada's books, becomes difficult sometimes. So, do you have any, advice or any ideas that could maybe help with that? Because the idea is that, as we all know, Prabhupada wrote the books and he wants us to finish the books. So, but it's difficult sometimes, Sometimes, and sometimes it's a little daunting. It's like you got the Bhagavatam. It's like, oh man, even just the first canto. It's a big book, and you got the whole, it's a lot of books. There's a lot to do, So.
Yeah, I've met devotees that haven't finished the Bhagavatam, that have been devotees for years. Oh, I don't know. No, I haven't seen that yet. Actually, maybe I think I do. There was one person. He had been in the movement 20 years, hadn't finished the Bhagavatam. Now some devotees, they have a natural attraction to reading Prabhupada's books, and some just don't have that. They're not studious. They're not much of a reader. There's people that that are like that. They don't like to read very much. What to do? I know I met one person in Europe, and he was asking me how to be inspired in book distribution. I said, well, what inspires me is reading Bhagavad Gita. And I was shocked to hear, he said, well, I don't like the Bhagavad Gita. I was like, he's distributing books for years. He's been distributing books now for 15 years. Didn't like the Bhagavad Gita. That's like a Christian saying, no, I don't like the Bible. Still distributing books. Maybe he likes the srimadbhagavatam. But that's kind of offensive, isn't it? So, yeah, even if it's true, it shouldn't be said. But yeah, even if we don't have an attraction, we should pray for that attraction for reading Prabhupada's books. And as far as time management, now it's a big thing. Is there's life coaches. We have in our ISKCON society that we have life coaches. You know that? Yeah, we have life coaches. Sure, believe it or not, Vijaya Dasa, he has a life coach. Maybe that's why he's so successful in his preaching. But yeah, believe it or not, you could find a life coach, or we have to manage our time in such a way that we're reading minimum. Prabhupada said at least an hour a day. At least an hour a day. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, something. And from this we become attracted. From hearing about Krishna, we become attracted to Krishna. Shrimbatam svakata Krishna punya shravana kirtana hrudyantasto yavadrani vidanoti savitatam. Shri Krishna, the personality of God, who is the Paramatma, the super soul in the hearts of all living entities, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses the desire from material enjoyment from the heart of the devotee who relishes his messages, which are in themselves virtuous and properly heard and chanted. So just see how kind Krishna is. All we have to do is read his books and relish them, and Krishna cleanses our heart. And that's why we're here, right? So we should really take this to heart. Hearing every day, reading Prabhupada's books every day. And if you're reading and you come upon a part that you really appreciate, that you relish, hey, Krishna's cleansing your heart right there. And Krishna, he's the best. We could clean so many things. We can clean our room, we can clean our clothes, we can clean our body, but cleaning the heart, a little more difficult. Not as easy. But Krishna can do that, because Krishna is very pure. He's so pure that he can purify anyone's heart, even jug eyes and mud eyes, and they were bad. So, we should really take this to heart. Reading Prabhupada's books daily, at minimum an hour, and we'll become attracted to Krishna. We'll get purified. Yes, Javira Prabhu. A comment.
Yeah, one quick comment.
A quick comment.
There's also the audio books.
We have audio books. Javita, he also did some audio. That's right.
So if you're running around doing this, sweeping the floor, whatever it is, you can. I give it away free. My
Javita Prabhu, give it away for free.
Anyone on
the internet, you hear that? Huh? So what did you do? The whole Bhagavatam?
I did the whole Bhagavad Gita.
The whole Bhagavad Gita. And Amala Bhakta Maharaj, he did the whole Bhagavatam.
But just the translations. Just the translations.
Yeah.
Keshava, he's doing that.
He's doing everything, the whole purports and everything.
Yeah, he's working on that.
Wow.
It's a big project.
That's a big project.
I don't know. but that's part of his.
That's a nice service too. Okay. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki.